Hello. Today I want to talk to you about work. Great topic, isn't it? Right? All of us have to work. And most of us, I think, revile it. So, we're going to discuss two different concepts. Work to live and work for freedom. Hello, my name is Leon Lacovey, the grandfather. And today, as I said, I'm going to discuss work. But just before I go on, I'd like to thank you for those wonderful line and email messages. Please keep them coming. They mean a lot to us. Now, work. Since time immemorial, we've worked. We've worked to live, and I think historically, most of us are from an agrarian background, a farming background. We had to get up when the sun came up during the summertime or spring to go farming, to go plant harvesting in the fall, and then later winter came and we had more time for ourselves. But I think the concept of work has had a very, very difficult go since World War II. Because of course, since World War II, the industrial sector greatly expanded. So you got this idea that I'm working, I'm selling my labor basically, according to Marx, people like this, I'm selling my labor for what? For money. So I work to live. I work to live. And then comes Friday, right? Thank God it's Friday. And then I have 2 days of liberty, 2 days of peace, and then Monday morning, the Monday blues. I'm back to work again. Terrible concept when you think that we spend the vast majority of our time working, right? The vast majority of our free time, our waking time, is spent working. Why would you hate this? Why? Well, I think life itself is broken into 3 distinct phases. The first, of course, is 0 to around 30. So we go to school, we get educated, perhaps we develop a relationship, perhaps we get married, some children, and we're working hard at this point. If you want to achieve anything financially, you have to put in your time, so to speak. I did, and I'm sure you are, or doing now, or did, right? So then we develop this concept of time. I'm selling my time. People tell you at a very young age, hey, grow up. Suddenly time takes on a magical and a negative, I think, many times, background. So now I gotta sell this time. So I'm working. I turned 30. In Western culture, 30 is a big deal. Really, it's the beginning of the maturation of my career at this point. 30 to, let's say, 65. I'm working hard at this point. I'm truly somewhat suffering many times. And then I'm coming to that magical time, 65. I'm going to retire, and then useless, I'm going to basically eventually die. Poor me. What a life. Nothing but work, little bit of joy, and then, of course, cessation, then death. But this concept is absolutely ludicrous. It's false. All of us need to be trained, of course. And then we have to come to a point that we realize that work, our career is actually joy. Work is freedom. It frees us from the concerns of everyday frustrational life, if you will, right? It frees us to develop who we are. We can develop a wonderful career until perhaps we're absolutely no longer capable of doing anything. Now, I always like to tell the story. I have a friend who's 91, still drives a car, has a girlfriend, of all things, right? Lovely woman, still reads every day, excellent scholar. The mind is in the ascendant, not the descendant. So you have to think about this. So work for freedom. Yes, we must work to live when we begin our career, but later we want to be free. We have an education gives us experience, and then eventually comes to a point of expertise. And if I'm at that point, you can take away all my money in theory and all my power and all my clothes, throw me on the street, and I can start again. Now, I'd like to read just a little bit from our book. grandfather is going to die. Chapter 19, Freedom, How It All Begins. I remember a freshness and excitement when I think back some 60 years or so. In this, I'm sure I am not unique. Life, with all its complications and its frustrations, begins much like a distant vessel on the horizon. It is initially just a small dot that slowly gets bolder and bolder and finally looms into view. It is only then that you can make out its details, its huge size, its complicated structure, its blazing color, its sublime profile. In all of this, you sense a feeling of lightness, the embrace of optimism. You do not know why you feel this way, but you do. You are alive, though somewhat dull and awkward. So, the next time you think of work, think to yourself that I'm not just working to live, I'm working for freedom. I'm working for freedom. And remember, critical thinking is necessary and critical thinking is great. Think of work. It's pure joy. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.